Another week, another shit episode of The Last of Us has come out, and somehow every episode is exactly the same, and yet each one feels worse than the last. The biggest critique of the show is that both Ellie and Dina are unlikable shit characters with zero chemistry between them. They both don't have the ability nor charisma to carry the show going forward, and after watching 4 hours of this shit, I completely agree with that sentiment, since being stuck with these two boring fucks in this pointless teen drama feels like I have wasted 4 hours of my life that I will never get back. The Last of Us Part 2 is supposed to be a bleak tale of revenge, and yet it wastes most of its time on a weak, shallow romance between two planks of wood who talk like middle-aged men. Most of the time, it feels like they are on a date and not a life or death mission to avenge Ellie's murdered father figure, as they will gossip loudly in enemy territory like they haven't a care in the world, which is completely retarded. The problem is that this creates a tonal whiplash when you try to watch the show, because on one hand it wants to be a gritty survival tale that demonstrates the absolute cruelty and malevolence of humanity, but on the other hand it's also a shitty lesbian drama with two of the most boring characters in the whole of fiction. Every episode is the same. Ellie and Dina waste most of the screen time talking about romantic shitty girl talk before the monotony is finally broken up by a really stupid action scene where these tiny women choke out men who are twice their size, rinse and repeat. The romance is by far the worst thing about this season, which is a huge problem since it's 90% of the story. So little happens this episode that my mind kept trailing off as I thought about all the shit that is wrong with the show. Like, where does Dina find fresh makeup in the apocalypse? Why are their clothes so clean? And how does everyone have a supply of gas and electricity to use for their appliances 25 years after the end of the world? I mean, just think about the logistics involved in order for this cooking stove to turn on. You need to get the gas pumped directly from the earth, filter out all the other shit until it's pure, then find a way to deliver it on a regular basis. Replace all the broken pipes that have been cracked by overgrown vegetation before finally connecting it to the stove. This doesn't even include fixing the stove itself, as you would have to scavenge or manufacture replacement parts as well. And just where the fuck are you supposed to find workable electronic equipment 25 years after the apocalypse? I don't know, and the writers don't either. My point is that this is what I hate about this version of the apocalypse. It's war-torn and everywhere looks fucked up besides the people, who can apparently get all the food, gas, electricity and makeup that they could ever want. So no one is fighting over resources, which would be the only concern after the world ended.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
So the writers have to manufacture dumb reasons for people to be at war with each other, like the WLF murdering Fedra soldiers because they don't get the right to vote. Like anyone would actually give a shit about democracy if the world fell apart. Not becoming a mushroom-headed zombie is the top of everyone's priority list, and most people throughout human history have never had the vote anyway. So who the fuck would care about democracy when there is no civilization around to support it?
That's fucking stupid.
Another example are the crazy cult people who are fighting the WLF all because they worship some bullshit religion that popped up a few years ago. And what exactly are their beliefs? Who cares? They're crazy religious people and that's it. No deeper motivation is given to them because the writers don't give a shit, so why should we? I also noticed that despite this world being a hyper-violent reality where men would thrive, every single group has a matriarchal figure leading them. Jackson is led by Maria, the Hunters in Season 1 were led by a woman, the Fireflies were led by Marlene, Abby's group is led by Abby, the founder of the WLF is also a woman, and even the prophet of a crazy cult which is supposed to be sexist is called the Mother.
Well, that's just silly.
Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
Being a progressive show, The Last of Us is incredibly nasty in its complete disregard for infant lives, as it treats unborn babies with zero empathy and will have heavily pregnant women pointlessly endanger the lives of their unborn children by needlessly fighting on the front lines simply to prove a point that a woman can do anything a man can, even if she is 8 months pregnant.
That's fucking stupid.
The writers also have a pregnant Dina recklessly stay in the danger zone of Seattle, where she is a massive liability to Ellie and will almost certainly get the both of them killed, instead of, doing the smart thing, which would be to head back to Jackson to safely deliver the child in peace. Dina is nothing but a burden, but she doesn't even care, as she is only here to fulfill her own narcissistic, selfish desire to be in a relationship with Ellie, even if it is to the detriment of both Ellie and her unborn baby. And if all that wasn't bad enough, The Last of Us Part 2 also has a deep hatred of fatherhood as well, as more than once we see a father of an infant have no rights and no voice in the caring of his own child. Echoing the retarded My Body, My Choice movement in the game was Mel, and when questioned about if the father of her baby is fine with his heavily pregnant girlfriend endangering the life of their child for absolutely no reason, the fucking bitch responded with this.
No one's okay with this? Why would it be up to Owen?
8 hours later.
Every father besides Tommy is brutally murdered in the sequel, and even he by the end of the game is a destroyed mess. He's crippled, divorced, and has lost his family, so while he may not be dead physically, his spirit has certainly been crushed. The messaging in the sequel is the complete opposite of what The Last of Us was supposed to be about, as Joel's second chance to be a dad was the entire point of the story. Well, I guess fuck that, as dads are now weak, pathetic pussies who deserve to be beaten to death by a bunch of angry lesbians. And if this show does indeed follow the game, which it looks like it is, then we are going to see the cowardly way that Neil Cuckman deals with Dina's baby dad problem. Some of you may have wondered just how exactly are the three of them going to raise this child, and what is Ellie's place in this threesome since she is not a parent. For instance, if the Asian simp doesn't think it's a good idea for his son to be raised on some random farm out in the middle of nowhere with only 2 retarded lesbians to protect him, doesn't he get a say? Well, no, because he's a man, and Neil Cuckman found a cowardly solution to that problem, which was to do this.
Stand up!
This show feels so outdated and overtly political that it's no surprise that everyone is sick of it at this point. But hey, when you're a male feminist like Neil who has no other skill than to backstab his fellow co-workers in order to take power, then what else can he do but write dogshit shows like this? So for those few of you who are still interested, here's the fucking plot. It opens in the past in Seattle, where we see a bunch of Federal soldiers in the back of a van, and they repeatedly say the word fuck in every sentence, like they're some gay teenagers who have only just discovered what swearing is.
Fucking easy on voters. Oh yeah, well fuck them, but I didn't fucking know that. He's in a fucking mood. What are you fucking calling for? What do these fucking pussies even do? You fucking perverts? Fuck no? It's just fucking head against the wall, just blood fucking. Cause that's what we fucking call them.
You fucking child.
Thankfully, they all get murdered when Isaac betrays and kills all his men so that he can team up with the WLF, which is led by a woman, of course, like every faction is in the show. We then cut to the present, where Ellie and Dina are asking each other the big questions.
Ooh, you reckon a yeast infection?
That's fucking disgusting.
Dina goes on to try a bunch of pregnancy tests, which somehow still work decades after their expiration date, before they head out into Seattle, and on the way they spot a couple of gay pride flags, which makes them say this.
Rainbows? I don't know. Maybe they're all optimists.
Paging Dr. Faggot! Dr. Faggot!
Dina eventually goes on to spot a giant WLF sign spray painted on a nearby building, so they think that is where the main WLF base is. They decide to wait until the sun sets to scout the place out, and in the meantime they choose to hide the horse inside a nearby music shop before then proceeding to fuck around with the musical instruments, which is retarded because what if someone or something overhears it and murders the both of them?
This is fucking retarded.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen since the plot moves at a glacial pace, so we are forced to watch Ellie give a painfully long and awful rendition of Take On Me. I'm not joking, she plays the whole fucking song, and after listening to it, it feels like my ears have been raped.
Please, make it stop.
So, after that nightmare finally ends, they both scout out and infiltrate the WLF building, only to discover that everyone inside has been killed by the crazy cult people that they are fighting. WLF backup then arrives, and once again the writers have them swear excessively every sentence because they think that it makes them sound tough, when it doesn't. It's just cringe and gay.
Fuck me. Cut them the fuck down. So I don't really give a shit. I don't give a shit if it's a woman. I don't care if it's a fucking baby. Now fan the fuck out!
Swearing doesn't make you cool.
So, as they are sneaking around the place like ninjas who somehow don't get seen climbing a staircase that is clearly in view of the WLF, Ellie goes on to single-handedly take down a fully grown man who's twice her size, before then overpowering him in a chokehold that he somehow can't get out of.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
This guy is so weak and helpless that Ellie stabs him to death before Dina shoots someone else who spots them, which then forces the pair of them to run away. But as they do, we can clearly see that the WLF soldiers have them directly in their sights, and yet somehow they miss every fucking shot. Both of them get chased into some nearby tunnels which is full of infected. Dina uses her sonar ability because I guess she's a fucking bat now to tell Ellie just how many infected there are. Turns out there's a lot of them, which quickly overwhelms and kills all the soldiers who are following them. Dina and Ellie run through the station until they are cornered, and even though Ellie has a gun, she chooses to stick her arm right out in front of Dina's face, which gets bitten instead of, you know, just blowing the infected woman's brains out like a normal person would. The writers are so shit at their jobs that they couldn't think of a better way for Dina to find out that Ellie is infected other than to have her behave like a complete retard. Eventually, they escape the tunnel and take refuge in a theatre house where Dina turns her gun on Ellie and threatens to kill her. And despite Ellie only knowing Dina for a month or two at this point, she says this:
I would die for you.
I don't believe you.
If they had the same relationship that she had with Joel, I would believe it. But certainly not with Dina, as their relationship is so new and so shallow that they've only shared one drunken kiss together. This romance is pure bullshit. Forget being lovers, they don't even feel like friends, what with how little chemistry they have between each other. They just want to fuck and nothing more, which is exactly what happens next, as when Ellie tells Dina that she is immune, Dina doesn't ask any questions before telling Ellie that she is pregnant, and then the pair of them immediately start scissoring each other. Shouldn't Dina be worried that even if Ellie is immune from the cordyceps, she could still be a carrier and infect Dina? Well, I guess this is in character for her, since she is the local bicycle who will let anyone take a ride on her without protection, as Dina just loves having unprotected sex with people she barely knows, all because she is a bona fide slut. What's annoying about this scene is that Ellie isn't even angry about how a now pregnant Dina has selfishly endangered the entire revenge mission, all because she thought that being pregnant in a war zone is no big deal.
You whore!
The sex scene is also terrible to watch as well. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching a lesbian sex scene as much as the next guy, but when one of those women looks like Rocky Dennis, it makes the whole scene rather off-putting. What's ironic about this situation is that the male feminist Neil Cookman has complained about the over-sexualization of female characters, and yet what does the hypocritical dumb cunt do? why he puts 2 sex scenes in a sequel.
More specifically, I'm talking about our female characters. And whether we want to admit it or not, these are role models. And yet we sexualize, we objectify, we marginalize, and we reduce these female characters to a lot less than they can be.
You fucking hypocrite.
The next morning, after a night of scissoring each other's timbers, they eat some beef jerky and talk about Dina being pregnant and how they are both going to raise it together. They barely know each other and already they are planning to start a family by raising Dina's bastard love child. Somehow this scene gets worse as Ellie goes on to say this.
I'm gonna be a dad.
No, you fucking retard, only men can be dads. You're a potato-headed moron in a dog shit show that no one likes. And if this episode wasn't already boring enough as it is, Dina whines about how her mother didn't like the fact that she is bisexual.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
You know, I've realised that besides being a bisexual whore, Dina doesn't have a personality outside of her sexuality. She gets fucked by the Asian simp before being dumped, and while she still has the taste of his dick in her mouth, she immediately latches onto and kisses Ellie like some kind of parasite that's looking for its next host. She is constantly in relationships that don't work and changes sexual partners like she changes clothes. She also hates her mother like most feminists because they see them as judgmental figures who don't approve of their modern lifestyle. Dina feels like she is a self-insert of a bitter aging feminist since no sane woman would behave this way, especially in such a dangerous environment that this story takes place in. Considering that this is all we will ever know about her character goes to show you just how shallow of a person she really is. Anyway, the WLF over the radio mention the name of one of Abby's friends, so the pair of them get on the roof and see fighting that's happening somewhere in the city. And that's it, that was the episode.
That was awful.
Every episode of The Last of Us somehow keeps getting worse. The characters are all unlikable, the pacing of the show is slow as fuck. Instead of a revenge story, we are subjected to a shit teen drama and nothing has happened so far. This show has managed to do the impossible and is actually worse than the game, which was a fucking slog to get through. The next 3 episodes are going to be a huge pain in the ass to watch, as The Last of Us is a miserable, dull show where nothing happens, so we're stuck watching 2 annoying lesbians compete for who's more insufferable. Anyway, that was episode 4 of The Last of Us.
It's a piece of shit.